Across the vast expanse of space, there exists a species so ancient that entire galaxies have been born and died in the time they have walked among the stars. The Vorthak have witnessed the rise and fall of 10,000 civilizations. They have guided countless worlds from primitive darkness into the light of interstellar greatness. For 2.8 million years, these crystalline beings of pure energy have served as the galaxy's watchers, teachers, and guardians. Yet in all their infinite wisdom and countless journeys across the cosmos, there remains one world they have never visited, one species they have never contacted: Earth. The Vorthak exist as living geometric patterns of brilliant light contained within towering crystal matrices that shift and pulse with thoughts older than most star systems. Their bodies defy conventional physics, phasing between dimensions at will, manipulating time itself as easily as stepping through a doorway. To younger species across the galaxy, they appear as gods made manifest, beings whose technology is so advanced it seems like pure magic. When a Vorthak speaks, reality itself seems to listen and bend to accommodate their words. These ancient entities travel in massive crystal cities that drift silently through the void, their surfaces reflecting not light, but the very essence of space and time. Each ship houses millions of Vorthak consciousnesses, all linked in a collective mind that spans eons of accumulated knowledge. They are the keepers of the Great Archive, a repository containing the complete history of every civilization that has ever existed in the known galaxy. Wars, discoveries, art, music, literature, scientific breakthroughs, philosophical revelations, the rise of heroes, and the fall of tyrants. All of it carefully cataloged and preserved by these eternal watchers. The Galactic Confederation spans 50,000 inhabited worlds, each populated by species at various stages of development. From primitive tool users just beginning to look up at their night skies, to advanced civilizations capable of reshaping entire star systems to suit their needs. Every one of these species shares a common experience that binds them together across the vast distances between their worlds. They have all been visited by the Vorthak. They have all received the gift of ancient wisdom. A Vorthak visitation is considered the highest honor any species can achieve. It marks their acceptance into the greater galactic community and signals their readiness to take their place among the stars. The process is always the same. The crystal cities appear without warning in a world's solar system, beautiful and terrible in their alien majesty. The ancients study the species for cycles, learning their languages, their cultures, their hopes and fears and dreams. Then comes first contact. A single Vorthak, usually one of their eldest and wisest, materializes before the species' greatest leaders and scholars. The revelation that they are not alone in the universe, that vast civilizations exist beyond their wildest imagination, that knowledge and technology beyond their comprehension await them, transforms every species forever. The Vorthak share carefully selected portions of their accumulated wisdom, mathematics that unlock the secrets of faster-than-light travel, energy manipulation techniques that provide unlimited clean power, medical knowledge that extends lifespans and eliminates disease, philosophical frameworks that help young civilizations avoid the pitfalls of rapid advancement. Yet for all their countless visitations and interventions, for all the worlds they have elevated and civilizations they have guided to greatness, one planet remains conspicuously absent from their chronicles. Earth orbits its yellow star in what the galactic community calls the Sol System, home to a species that calls itself humanity. For 200,000 years, humans have evolved, struggled, fought, created, and dreamed beneath skies that have never been graced by the presence of ancient crystal cities. This absence has not gone unnoticed. As humanity's radio signals began reaching neighboring star systems, and their primitive spacecraft started venturing beyond their homeworld, other species began to take notice. Why had the ancients not made contact? What made Earth different from every other inhabited world in the galaxy? The questions grew more pressing as human technology advanced at an unprecedented rate, developing capabilities that should have taken them millennia to achieve. Now, for the first time in their ancient history, the Vorthak have agreed to explain their unprecedented decision to avoid a single world in a galaxy full of civilizations they had eagerly embraced. The Grand Assembly Hall on Nexus Prime had never witnessed anything like this. Representatives from every major civilization in the galaxy filled the vast chamber, their diverse forms creating a tapestry of alien life that spanned from crystalline energy beings to massive hive minds to graceful winged humanoids. At the center of it all, a single crystalline platform awaited the arrival of HFY, the eldest of the Vorthak delegation. For the first time in galactic history, the ancients had been summoned to explain themselves. When HFY materialized, his towering form of shifting geometric light patterns seemed subdued, almost uncertain. This was unprecedented. The ancients never showed doubt or hesitation. Yet here stood one of the oldest beings in existence, his crystalline matrix flickering with what could only be described as nervousness. Ambassador Altair of the Altarian Republic was the first to speak. His people had been contacted by the Vorthak 50,000 years ago, transforming them from a war-torn species on the brink of self-destruction into peaceful explorers who had colonized 12 star systems. Ancient One, we seek understanding. Every species in this hall has received your guidance and wisdom. Every civilization has been elevated by your knowledge. Why do the humans of Earth remain excluded from this universal gift? Surely they deserve the same opportunities we have all received. The Zephyrian Collective's representative, a swirling mass of interconnected consciousness, pulsed with concern as it communicated. Our observations of human expansion show rapid technological development without ancient oversight. They possess nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, genetic manipulation technology. They advance at dangerous speeds without your guiding wisdom. This threatens galactic stability. Elder Sagan of the Andromedian Council raised her ancient voice. In our philosophy, cosmic balance requires that all species receive equal treatment from the universe's elder beings. Your avoidance of humanity disrupts this balance. Our prophecies speak of the untouched ones, those who develop without ancient guidance. These texts warn of consequences when natural order is disturbed. Trade Federation spokesman director Kane expressed more practical concerns. The humans develop independently, creating technologies we've never seen before. Their economic systems operate on principles that disrupt established galactic markets. They've achieved breakthroughs in quantum computing and energy manipulation without any foundation in ancient knowledge. This gives them unfair advantages over species who followed traditional development paths. As the testimonials continued, a disturbing picture emerged. Humanity had accomplished in mere centuries what should have taken millennia. They had survived multiple extinction events without outside intervention. Ice ages, asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, plagues that should have ended their civilization. Yet they persisted, adapted, and thrived. They had split the atom without understanding fundamental force mathematics that the ancients typically taught first. They had created thinking machines without being shown the philosophical frameworks necessary to prevent artificial intelligence disasters. Their artistic achievements defied explanation. Music that could convey emotions across species barriers. Literature that explored concepts even ancient minds found profound. Mathematical proofs discovered through intuition rather than systematic exploration. Scientific breakthroughs achieved through creative leaps that bypassed traditional logical progression. They had even begun to unlock genetic codes and manipulate their own evolution, something most species only attempted after millennia of careful guidance. Most disturbing of all, humanity seemed to thrive on challenges and adversity. Where other species sought stability and predictable growth patterns, humans appear to deliberately seek out problems to solve, boundaries to push, limits to exceed. They had turned their homeworld's harsh conditions into advantages, using everything from extreme weather to geological instability as inspiration for innovation. The council members grew more agitated with each revelation about human capabilities. Here was a species achieving impossible things without any help, while their own civilizations had required extensive ancient intervention to reach far lesser heights. The implications were staggering and uncomfortable. All eyes turned to HFY, whose crystalline form now flickered rapidly with patterns none had seen before. The ancient being who had existed for millions of years, who had guided countless civilizations to greatness, who had never shown uncertainty about anything, appeared to be experiencing something unprecedented. Fear. HFY's crystalline form pulsed with ancient uncertainty as he began the most difficult confession in Vortex history. In our 2.8 million years of existence, we have encountered one constant across every species, every civilization, every world we have contacted. They all follow predictable patterns of development. They all reach points where they require our guidance to survive and advance. They all become better versions of themselves through our wisdom. His voice resonated with the weight of eons. Humanity breaks every pattern we have ever observed. We do not avoid Earth out of dismissal or indifference. We avoid it out of fear. The assembly fell silent. An ancient being admitting fear was beyond comprehension. Not fear of their weapons or their aggression. HFY continued, his form flickering with emotions that had no names in any galactic language. Fear of their potential. Fear that our vast knowledge might be inadequate when faced with their unique nature. Fear that they might not need us. Worse, fear that they might surpass us. The revelation hit the assembly like a shockwave. HFY pressed on, his confession becoming a torrent of suppressed concerns that had haunted the Vortex for millennia. Observe our standard procedure with emerging species. When we contact a young civilization, we study their development patterns and intervene at critical junctures. We prevent extinction events, provide technological foundations, share philosophical frameworks that guide their growth. Every species follows this path. Every species becomes dependent on our wisdom. Every species reaches a comfortable plateau where they no longer need to struggle or innovate independently. The ancients' form shifted to display holographic records. Consider the Meridians. When we contacted them, they were brilliant innovators on the verge of incredible breakthroughs. They had developed unique approaches to energy manipulation that we had never considered. After our guidance, they became peaceful, stable, and utterly predictable. They gained wisdom, but lost their creative edge. They now serve the galaxy faithfully, but will never again surprise us with original thinking. More records flowed through the crystalline display. The hegemony wars taught us another lesson. We contacted an aggressive species during their most violent period, sharing knowledge of peace and cooperation. They transformed from conquering warriors into enlightened philosophers. Yet they also lost the very drive and determination that had made them capable of greatness. They gained tranquility, but sacrificed the passion that had fueled their achievements. HFY's admission grew more profound. Every species we have contacted has been fundamentally changed by the encounter. Not always for the better. They gain our knowledge, but lose something essentially themselves. None have ever exceeded their pre-contact potential. We have begun to realize that our guidance may create a ceiling rather than a foundation. The ancients' form brightened with what could only be described as unmixed with terror. Humanity defies every principle we understand about species development. They achieve in centuries what takes others millennia. They solve problems through creativity rather than accumulated wisdom. They find solutions we never considered through approaches we never imagined. Their emotional depth drives innovation in ways pure logic cannot match. We monitor 47 human scientists who are currently on the verge of discoveries that required us 500,000 years to achieve. They approach quantum mechanics through intuitive leaps rather than systematic progression. Their artists create works that reveal mathematical truths we missed in our calculations. Their social systems solve problems our logic declared unsolvable. Their medical advances come through inspired guessing rather than methodical research. The most disturbing revelation came last. They thrive on adversity. Every challenge we observe that should destroy them instead makes them stronger, more innovative, more determined. They do not seek easy answers or comfortable solutions. They create new questions and pursue impossible goals. They have turned their planet's harshest conditions into advantages and used every setback as inspiration for breakthrough innovations. HFY's final confession shattered every assumption the galaxy held about ancient wisdom. What terrifies us most is the possibility that first contact with humanity might not result in us teaching them, but in them teaching us. that our role as guides and teachers might be reversed, that beings who have existed for mere thousands of years might possess insights that have eluded us across millions of years of existence. Stunned silence gripped the Grand Assembly as representatives struggled to process what they had just heard. The galaxy's most ancient and revered beings, creatures who had shaped the course of civilizations for millions of years, had just admitted to being afraid of a species that had barely learned to leave their own planet. The philosophical earthquake of ancients confessing potential fallibility shattered every assumption about the cosmic order. Ambassador Altair was the first to find his voice. Are you saying that contact would harm humanity? That your wisdom would diminish them rather than elevate them? Or are you afraid, interrupted Director Kane with barely concealed anger, that humanity would damage your reputation as infallible guides? HFY's crystalline form pulsed rapidly, with what appeared to be ancient emotions struggling for expression. Both possibilities terrify us equally. The chamber erupted into debate. The pro-contact faction argued passionately that humans deserve the same opportunities as every other species. Elder Sagan declared that withholding potentially life-saving wisdom violated fundamental cosmic principles. The Zephyrian Collective warned that unsupervised human development could lead to technologies that threaten galactic stability. Some representatives expressed outrage that ancients would treat any species as unworthy of contact, while others began to understand the unprecedented nature of humanity's situation. The Altarian delegation pushed hardest for intervention. Human civilization faces extinction threats daily. War, climate change, resource depletion, technological disasters. Ancient knowledge could prevent their self-destruction and guide them toward peaceful coexistence with the galaxy. But opposition voices grew equally strong. The Andromedian Council argued that human independence might be their greatest strength, that contact would rob the galaxy of humanity's unique perspective. Perhaps some species are meant to develop alone, to bring fresh approaches that guided civilizations cannot conceive. HFY's form shifted to reveal internal conflict among the Vorthak themselves. This debate has raged among our kind for millennia. Some of us advocate for contact out of curiosity about what we might learn. Others insist on continued observation to study their unprecedented development. A significant faction fears that humans might study us in return and find our methods wanting. The ancients' confession grew deeper and more troubling. We have been monitoring humanity more intensely than any species in our history. We have observed their greatest minds, their breakthrough moments, their creative processes. What we discover challenges everything we thought we knew about intelligence and advancement. HFY paused, his entire crystalline matrix flickering with uncertainty before delivering the ultimate revelation. We currently monitor 47 human scientists who are independently approaching discoveries that required us 500,000 years to achieve. Their quantum computing theories follow paths we never considered. Their approach to consciousness and artificial intelligence uses frameworks we dismissed as impossible. Their understanding of genetic manipulation advances through intuitive leaps that bypass safety protocols we consider essential. The admission that followed shook the very foundations of galactic civilization. We have identified human innovations in mathematics, physics, and philosophy that we now realize are superior to our own methods. Their emotional approach to problem-solving yields results that pure logic cannot match. Their willingness to take risks and accept failure as learning experiences accelerates their advancement beyond anything we have witnessed. The final confession came in barely a whisper from the ancient being. 3 cycles ago, we began preparing for the inevitability that humanity will achieve interstellar travel within the next few decades. When they do, first contact will be unavoidable. We face the unprecedented possibility that when that moment comes, we will find ourselves in the position of students rather than teachers. HFY's form began to fade as he prepared to depart. The species you know as humanity may represent the next evolutionary step in galactic civilization. They have achieved in isolation what we could not guide them toward through intervention. They have remained untouched, not because they are unworthy, but because they may be too extraordinary for even ancients to approach without being forever changed ourselves. As the Vorthak delegation vanished from the assembly hall, a new reality settled over the galaxy. The oldest and wisest beings in existence had just acknowledged that a young species from a small blue planet might possess capabilities that transcended ancient understanding. Humanity had achieved the ultimate recognition. They had humbled gods.